Alright, let's talk about Dragon Ball Super Episode 103. Gohan Be Ruthless, the showdown with Universe 10. Gohan yo Hijo Nare, Daiju Uchu to no Kesen. So of course we continue the trend of the Universe survival arc in this Tournament of Power of continuing where the last episode left off. And I find it interesting that all of these episodes, or at least most of them, are basically one episode length in their little story arcs, but the episodes are divided into the last half of one episode and the beginning half of another episode. I found that fairly interesting, and I think in this episode, I think it hinders it a little bit. Because we got Ribrianne fighting Android 17, which is awesome, and Ribrianne's angry, and then 17 gets all kind of weird and theatrical, like he's in some sort of like Broadway play or something. So I thought that was kind of weird. I guess it was supposed to be funny or something like that. I didn't think it was funny, I thought it was kind of weird, although it was interesting finally seeing a different facial expression for number 17. And I also like how Ribrianne kind of like used her butt to try to attack him, and great sound effect usage in this as well. And we still have the Who from Whoville attacking Goku, doing her same attack with the, you know, yellow balls of energy going around, and it's interesting how she's manipulating them. She's having ones go straight at him and manipulating some, you know, hitting him, even though it doesn't seem to be hurting him whatsoever. It seems like he could probably just go Super Saiyan and wipe the floor with her, but whatever, that's Goku. And of course 17 notices him being pushed back, so he goes in and shields them both from the attack, so that was pretty cool. And here, Ribrianne jumps in and shatters the barrier. Like, man, is she that mad? I guess it can be broken if enough power was put into it, it seems like. And then Goku finally decides to retaliate and kind of use her move against her. That was some pretty cool ingenuity from Goku, and, you know, scrapes her up a bit, and she's at the very edge of the tournament stage when Ribrianne jumps in right next to her for some reason, because now they're both have their backs to the edge of the stage. So I didn't think that was the smartest decision. Of course, they have a very solid teammate on their side, the Yardrat, who can just instant transmission in and instant transmission out, which is what happened, and that was great. This brings me to something that's really starting to annoy me about all of this thing. Every single episode, they have to say it. They have to beat it in our heads. We get it. It's a tournament arc. People jump up from behind you. Everybody attacks everybody. Don't let your guard down. I think I counted like 6 or 7 times they said that. Don't let your guard down. It's all because you let your guard down. Why'd you let your guard down? Guard down this, guard down that. We get it. Thank you. You can stop beating it on our heads now. I've been a little annoyed at this for a little while now, but this episode freaking takes the cake about how much they just have to say it. They just have to say it over and over and over again. And I honestly think that they're taking people's guards being down way too far. Like, even if you're even the slightest taken off guard, that's it. That you're done for. That's my thoughts on it personally. You can think whatever you want about it. I'm kind of annoyed about it. So back to the whole magical girl stuff, which I'm glad they continued it and kind of wrapped it up. Although I felt like it somewhat rendered like the first half of this episode somewhat pointless, even though it was really cool. Android 17 and Ribrianne's fight just didn't really amount to anything and just seemed to take up time of the episode, which probably should have been reserved for the title of the episode of Gohan, who, next to Piccolo, starts to fight Botamo. And it was really funny how he decided to adopt Goku and Vegeta's strategy of just hitting him a bunch of times, because, you know, that's what you do to Botamo, is that, you know, you just hit him a bunch of times, and when that doesn't work, you just hit him some more, which actually was pretty hilarious that actually started to work. Because he was starting to punch him up into the air, and Botamo tries to blast him, but he can't blast him, but he doesn't like try to hit him with his arms or anything, so that was kind of weird. But that was a cool strategy on Gohan's part. I thought that was pretty ingenious. So right after that, Universe 10 guys, the two remaining guys, because one of them gets knocked out, the two remaining guys decide to go up against Piccolo and Gohan. If I were those two guys, I'd be hiding my ass somewhere while everybody else battles it out, because I would be freaking terrified of my universe being erased. But they decide to fight Piccolo and Gohan. This is Obuni and Rubalt. Obuni fights Gohan and Rubalt fights Piccolo. So Rubalt has Piccolo on the ropes until Piccolo kind of starts doing these yellow orb blasts, and I'm like, oh man, I'm just kind of tired of all these fighters doing the rapid fire thing, you know, the thing that rings of desperation. And Rubalt actually remarks on this, so that was kind of cool. But a split second later, I'm like, oh, he's not doing that. I know what he's doing. He was doing the freaking hellzone grenade. That was badass. I wish they would have kind of focused in a little bit on that, you know, made it a little more dramatic and intense. But that scuffle was kind of a small scuffle. And he takes Rubalt out with that, which was so cool. We finally get to see the Hellzone grenade, and successfully this time. So Piccolo blasts him out. I thought it was weird that he decided to blast Rubalt out of the stage instead of just, you know, tossing him out because he was unconscious. But that was an awesome Piccolo moment for sure. And then we go back to Gohan, who is fighting Obuni. Now this fight is very interesting because he has a very interesting technique where he kind of splits a little bit, and he doesn't just like split his body, he splits like his energy or essence or something. And Gohan says he can still sense him, but he doesn't know like which body to hit, and it's almost like he can't hit him until Obuni hits him. So Gohan powers up and waits for him to strike, and he's like, yeah, I got you now. And so Gohan starts getting the better of him that way, and he mentions that he has like a family to take care of back home. But everything here goes kind of so fast here, we can't really focus that much on it. We're more focused on the action here than what's going on in these fighters' heads. So they have a pretty awesome fight. You know, the animation was okay. The art in this episode was not that great. I felt like it was kind of subpar for Dragon Ball Super. But the end of this fight, what gets me is the end of this fight was ruined by last episode's next episode preview. And I might have mentioned this in my last episode review too, because he jumps up, does the Kamehameha, and blasts him out with the Kamehameha. And of course, as he's blasting him out, a little trinket or something falls out. And when that fell out, I'm like, oh, maybe like Universe 10 won't be erased because that's another fighter or something like that. I had that weird theory in my head, but it wasn't anything like that. It was a picture of his family. And oh man, this was kind of emotional. And at the same time, it was kind of a missed opportunity, I felt, where they kind of cut between Gohan seeing this picture of this guy's family that he just eliminated. He basically eliminated Universe 10. So we have Universe 10's erasure intercut with Gohan's like seeing this picture. So like you can tell the emotions that are going kind of through his head at this time, and the frustration that he can't do anything but like eliminate these other guys who have families just like him. And so obviously Gowasu is kind of accepting his fate, and it actually was a little bit disappointing to me how it felt more intense and we felt more like darkness and like disappointment from Universe 9's erasure. At least that's kind of how I felt. I felt like they just needed a little bit more time to kind of flesh this out and let the audience kind of feel what was going on in these characters' heads during this time. They did an okay job. I just feel like it could have been done a little bit better so that we could actually feel the impact of what was happening. And of course, Gowasu is a character from the past that we've been in Universe 10 has been involved in the past in the series, so I felt like they should have had a little bit better of a farewell, I guess. And going back to Gohan, I felt like we definitely needed a little bit more fleshing out for this dynamic that he has with having to eliminate this guy who has a family just like he does. And it would have been so awesome if these guys like realize that each other are kind of the same. They each have a wife and a kid to take care of at home, and like they're struggling with this like moral obligation to their families. Like they don't want to kill this person, like they don't want to eliminate this person because they have a family just like them, but they then again they have no choice. So it would have been awesome if we had a little bit more development in their fight to add some more emotion, a little more tension to this. Instead, it just felt like a little scuffle, just like most of the fights have been. in this tournament so far. So, but I did think it was great how showing like Gohan looking down at the picture, you know, his fist tensing up because he's frustrated, you know. So it was fairly well done, I think. I think it was a bit of a missed opportunity though, personally. I think if they spent a little more time developing or fleshing out this little, you know, fight and that little dynamic that they would have made it a lot more engaging. And also if they didn't spoil it in the last episode preview too. So overall, I gotta be honest, I thought this episode was fairly mediocre. I wasn't that engaged. I thought the fights were really cool, obviously. I felt like if they were going to do more of the Ribrianne and 17 stuff, maybe it should have been this whole episode, or maybe they should have just been continuing the fight while the Gohan stuff is going on, and focus more time of this episode on Gohan and have this be his episode. Instead, they're still doing the half episode stuff. The art was just subpar and the animation was okay. The sound effects, I think, were pretty spot on where they needed to be, you know, as usual. I still enjoyed it, I just think it was kind of a missed opportunity in some areas. And I'm a little bummed out about Universe 10 being erased so soon. So looking forward to next week, we've got Hit versus Dyspo. It looks like Hit's actually having a little bit of trouble. And then we have, out of seemingly nowhere, Super Saiyan God Goku. I think I'm just going to make a whole nother video for this preview. Look forward to that in a day or so. So I won't get into it that much here. Overall, for episode 103, I still enjoyed it as I usually do. I just felt like it could have been done a lot better and paced a little better too. So as always, thanks for watching, share the video, and I'll see you later.